Saudi Arabia is a unique country on the Arabian Peninsula. Cities with the highest percentage of expatriate population would be Riyadh, the capital, Jeddah on the west coast, which is the Red Sea, and an agglomeration of cities in the eastern province consisting of Dammam, Dhahran, Al-Khobar, and Jubail. The two holy cities, Mecca and Medina, are located in the western part of the country. Non-Muslims cannot enter those cities. The Saudi Arabian legal system is based on the Sharia, which is the Islamic law, and quite restrictive. Saudi Arabia, for example, is the only country in the world where women are not allowed to drive motor vehicles and are obliged to wear an abaya, which is the black dress, Arabic dress typical from the region. The housing market for expatriates is mostly available in compounds, which are gated communities with different level of security. Most of those compounds offer a variety of accommodations, mostly furnished, starting from one-bedroom apartment all the way to 4- or 5-bedroom villas. Properties are in most cases rented furnished, as I was saying. The compounds are usually well-equipped, offering all the basics such as different sport facilities, swimming pool, tennis courts, recreation centers. Some of them even have an ice rink. They have grocery stores, hair salons, movie theaters, restaurants, basically offering a self-sufficient lifestyle. An expatriate living in a compound usually will not leave the compound that much. It feels at times like staying in a holiday resort. Many things are taken care of for you. From the beginning, when you arrive, the property is prepared for you. The maintenance team is there. They offer soft packages where you could have linen even provided in the house. The compounds are providing as well private buses to take the children to school, as well as either compound driver or buses to take the ladies to the shopping. One of the best aspects of compound life is the easygoing, friendly, helpful family atmosphere, and there is a very strong sense of community always present, and that's quite important for expatriates living there. The ladies are allowed to drive within the compound walls, and they can wear a similar outfit as they would be wearing back home while in the compounds. Some compounds will allow as well pet. In terms of pricing, annual rent would go from anywhere from 60,000 Saudi riyal for a one-bedroom unit all the way to 450,000 Saudi riyals for a 4-bedroom villa. The rent will include utilities and maintenance fees. Telephone, internet, satellite TV will have to be purchased separately and paid separately by the tenant. The lease must be signed by either the company or the assignee. For an individual to sign a lease, you would need to have a residency permit called Iqama, and it means that you have to wait for your immigration process to be over in order to sign a lease. There is no standard lease agreement. Most compounds will have their own. There's no such thing as diplomatic clause, no early termination. The deposit will range between 5,000 and 10,000 Saudi riyals for each property, and this should be paid immediately in order to secure the property that you have chosen. And then year rent will be paid as well up front, which means that this has to be planned accordingly. Presently, the demand for housing is very high, and it leads to a market which is difficult, with waiting list anywhere between 3 months and 1 year to be able to get a property in one of the highly sick compounds. In terms of schooling, there is a wide range of choice within the 3 major regions of Saudi Arabia that we talked about before. Most curriculums are present. The demand is really high, and spots are limited. The annual fees range from 35,000 Saudi riyal to 70,000 riyal, depending on the school. All the kids are going to private schools. The registration fees are non-refundable. And then many schools have placement tests, which is additional and means that it requires more planning in order to make sure that you'll be able to get into the desired school. One of the advice is to carry as many documents as possible prior to arriving. The school website homepage are very informative and complete, so a visit to those prior to coming to Saudi Arabia is a plus. Most of the schools are located in individual buildings in the city. Some of them will have their own school buses, and some of them will be served by the compound buses. Some schools are actually within a compound, which makes it very practical for expatriates to go to schools and come back. Transportation is a challenge in Saudi Arabia. Most transportation being used are private car, as there's no public transportation. But as women are not allowed to drive, there are a lot of drivers available from different countries. That gives a lot of different cultures on the road and makes the roads a bit specific to the country, a bit difficult and challenging. For example, until last year, teenagers were allowed to drive with no license in order to assist their mothers and sisters. I'm talking about the local population, of course. This has changed since then, but that gives you an example of how hectic it can be. Not being able to drive for the women means that they have to be very organized for the school runs, for the errands, to go shopping, so they're very dependent on the driver system and the bus system. One thing as well to note would be the fact that there are a lot of road signs in Arabic. So before driving, it is a good thing to be quite familiar with the language locally. Culture issues is the main challenge in Saudi Arabia. There's such a difference with Western countries. For example, alcohol and pork products are completely forbidden in the country. Public display of affection is not tolerated at all. Non-related men and women should not be together in public spaces, including cars. Ladies are highly dependent on somebody to drive them around, being the bus, being the husband, or being the drivers. The shops, for example, will close 5 times a day for the prior time, which means that shopping has to be arranged accordingly and planned accordingly. Due to all these constraints, the cultural shock is quite important. The expatriates feel the pressure of the conservatism on a daily life. Nevertheless, expatriates are usually enjoying the lifestyle in Saudi Arabia quite a lot. There is a strong sense of community, and making friends there is quite easy within your compound, for example, compared to a large cosmopolitan city where it is difficult to meet people. The expatriates enjoy the social, the family, and the community life resulting from all these cultural differences as well. Security is as well a challenge in Saudi Arabia. It is present in your daily life as people are living in a gated community and compounds. And even though nothing has happened since 2003, where the last attack were happening in the kingdom, everyone has to be very careful, and the security is quite important. So security being a challenge or something important in Saudi Arabia, don't be surprised to have your car searched anytime you enter a 5-star hotel or any gated community or compound where security is quite tight. To get into a compound, usually you have to pass at least 3 checkpoints. One of them will be checking your car, and then you will be asked an identity. And if you are not on the guest list, you will not be able to enter the compound. So this is to protect the expatriates living in those compounds and avoid any potential threat. The main one would be to come with an open mind, being ready to accept the differences. Try to learn as much as possible about the local culture. Understanding the roots of this culture helps understanding and accepting the strict rules better. Research as much as possible about the daily living constraints, so the cultural shock is reduced upon your arrival. You can expect what you're getting into. While you are in Saudi Arabia, try to meet as many people as possible. Try to pick from their experience. A lot of them have been living there for quite some time, and it's always a plus to know and have their point of view. Try to make the most of the experience and looking at the positive side of the expatriation in Saudi Arabia. It is a country where you will be able to learn a lot from the culture, and do not try to recreate your life from home. Expats like a lot of weather in the winter, allowing a lot of outdoors activity. They like the opportunity to explore and get to know a new culture from a different angle by living there. They appreciate a lot the social, family, and community life that you encounter there, making a lot of friends and having the opportunity to meet a lot of people. And actually, a lot of people who have lived in Saudi Arabia come back for a second time usually. Welcome to Saudi Arabia. أهلا وسهلا في السعودية.